C. Murder narrate the film? When did C. Murder narrate the film?
Before he went to jail.
What year was that? You know?
It had to be
2007, 8, something? 2007? Yeah. Before he got in the same position, unfortunately. Any more questions about that? Oh, yeah. Definitely. And she murdered, well, you know, we don't see him because he's in that old. The family kind of keeps in touch. Right now, the Innocence Project is working on that case. So he has 2 investigators. So we're hoping that pretty soon, something will return his case, and he'll either get a new trial or, you know, because he spent 12 years already. So this year coming up to be 13 years. And he never had, like my daughter said, he never been in trouble, never had a record, you know, first offender. Matter of fact, all these guys are first offenders except here.
What have you been doing, like, as far as, or have you, as far as, like, trying to put the word out in the judicial system? Because I see all these faces here, and, I mean, it seems like, to me, something is broken, system-wise.
Very broken. Very broken. Well, there are a lot of organizations now that are doing things for injustice. Matter of fact, they're trying to change the laws also. And I know you've probably heard about some of the laws that's being changed right now for offenders. And there's that one law that we're hoping will change this year, and Mac may be coming out free if that they would pass this law by August. It's the first offenders to get out, because see, when he went in prison, he had to do 80% of his time. But if they pass this law, they will go back to the way it was in the 90s, where you did half your time. So by him already doing 12 years, you've done enough time.
It's state law.
It's state law.
Well, he won't be exonerated.
No, he won't be exonerated. And we're trying to work towards him being exonerated. You know. So, you know, Louisiana laws is pretty much different. I mean, we got the highest incarceration in the country.
In the world.
And actually, I will say that. If it's the highest in the country, and the United States is the highest in the world, so Louisiana is the highest in the world.
And New Orleans is the highest in the entire world.
Right, right. So, and this is why they're trying to change these laws, because some of these guys have been in prison, like him, he went in prison at 14. And he's about 40, 42 right now, for a crime he didn't commit, you know. And some of them 116. This guy was an LSU student and a musician in the middle. And he's doing 34 years for those crimes. But, so.
One right there, he in Hunts too.
Yeah, he's in Hunts also. Yeah. So, as for your question, this is the 8th showing that I've had on the city, and I plan on bringing it outside the city. Have some plans to do that. I know. A lot of people don't know. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I show this film, and I talk about these inmates. You know, because you'd be surprised at how many people are incarcerated. But, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, supposed to be in jail, but the system's so broken. Of course, they're going to grab some people in there because they're trying to get conviction. They're trying to look good. It's a political year, you know. They're trying to get as many prisoners. And New Orleans, they grab all the young men. That's why it's like a business. It's a big business out here, you know, in Louisiana.
Now, you talk to him, the one that's in Hunts, move back.
Yeah. When I go see Mac, I usually see him. Actually, I'm in contact with all of them. Except for this guy, he is, well, of course, he's an exonerated. He spent 27 and a half years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He went in at 17 and came out in 2003. Now he's a paralegal. He's doing very well, and you know, Yep. And he's fighting to get his money. So, yeah. Any more questions?
I have a question. Who's the producer and director?
Michael Sheehan.
Is he here?
No, he's from Arizona, but he comes back and forth. He does a lot of videos and film and short films. You know, so what happened, he was a big fan of Max. And he wrote Mac, and he heard about his story, and he wanted to do a documentary about his case. He just wanted to do something to help the family and help people, his fans, you know, so his fans, so we can get the word out to his fans, in other words, because so many of his fans still email me and write Mac, and they don't know what happened, you know. I had a fan from Cleveland wrote me just a couple of days ago, you know, talking about how, you know, Mac was the reason why he got his career started in music as a DJ.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think I know you had 2 lawyers on this case. Do you think the lawyers dropped the ball in this case because they thought it was too
Oh, the
cut and
first
dry?
one did. I'm gonna tell you that, he did. He, like my daughter-in-law say, he got cocky. He didn't even call a witness. The defense did not call a witness because he thought we won the case. Because to be honest with you, the prosecutor's witness was so weak. You know, I understand in a way, but he still should have called witnesses.
And that was the St. Tammany Parish?
Yes. You know how prejudiced they are in St. Tammany Parish.
Right.
So. Alrighty, well, again, what? What do you want? Well, if you want to say something.
Oh, always put me on the spot.
Well, you better
Now, I think that watching this is like my 3rd time watching it, and each time I get that same feeling that it's just not right what's going on. You know, I met Mac like 4 years ago. I was doing a speaking engagement at Hunts. I had just graduated from LSU, and I was going in there to speak to the prisoners to just encourage them and uplift them. And I grew up listening to Mac's music, you know, and I didn't grow up wanting a career in music at all. So I was still kind of starstruck by meeting my favorite rappers at the time. So when we were on our way inside the prison, the guy who was bringing me in there, who was kind of mentoring, you know, the program I was a part of, he said, "Yeah, D, you know, this is where Mac is." And I was like, "What?" And I was just like taken aback. I was like, "Man, I can't believe that. Like, I grew up listening to this guy, like for real, for real." And because I grew up on these streets in New Orleans, and once that happened, I was explaining to someone earlier today. Once I walked inside of there and we met and we shook hands and whatnot, and he already knew about me because of a magazine I had been featured in. But we just kind of hit it off. And it was like a natural connection there to where I knew all about this. I had already done my research on the case, and I just felt like I definitely don't think God makes mistakes, and I definitely don't believe in the word coincidence. So I know that everything that happened was for a reason, and that we crossed paths for a reason. So it started off with us just writing letters back and forth. Then he really took an interest in my music career because he said that he saw a lot of similarities in just the spirit that I have about me and how he was. And he talks about, like they talked about in the DVD, how kind of the industry, you know, and the pressures to conform to what's popular or quote-unquote popular in the industry, how that stuff really got to him. And he always would tell me, "I don't want to see the same thing happen to you." So that turned into us talking on the phone. That turned into me going and visiting him, like, you know, once every 2 or 3 weeks whenever I would get a chance. And now it's pretty much like I'm part of the family, definitely. And I feel comfortable saying that because I know, you know, that it's reciprocated both ways as far as the love. And, you know, so I'm just trying to use my musical platform because a lot of doors been opening up for me nationwide as far as traveling, touring, getting just a lot of love. So I'm just making sure I use my musical platform to bring awareness, same thing, bring awareness, just get people excited behind doing the right thing, because bringing this man home is doing the right thing. We get excited behind Essence Fest and some whatever real quick. We quick to go in our pockets and say, "Well, I got 80. How much it cost to get in that party? 80? Fine, here." But I want to get people that excited behind trying to do the right thing, bringing a man home to help raise his son, you know, to come home to his family, to his brothers, sisters, mother and father, that type of stuff. So I just think, I definitely think we all have a purpose in life that's very, you know, that's very specific. There's nothing overwhelming. It's just something that God puts on us, like, look, I put you down here for this amount of time, and I'm going to put some stuff on your plate that I really think you can accomplish. And I think that this is something that we were all put here for, is to just help bring an innocent man home, or at least at the least to help keep his spirits up, because it's so amazing how, like Mr. Phipps said in the DVD, it's so amazing how when you see Mac or when you talk to him, he's still so upbeat and so positive, you know, for much of the time. And it's like, I couldn't imagine how I would be if I had served 12 years for something I didn't do. You know, I couldn't imagine what my spirit would be. So whatever role we can play, so that's why, like Ms. Sheila said, just helping to get the Innocence Project and the private investigators and all these different people on board. I'm just, you know, helping to do that stuff and just trying to play my role. That's it. You know, it's really, like, I don't know, it's just humbling just to even talk about this stuff. Like, it's crazy. That's why it's not for, like, the attention or anything, you know, because all the attention, actually it is for the attention, because there needs to be a lot of attention on this, like, really. So I can't say I don't do it for the attention, because I really do want people to know what this means if I wear a shirt that says Free Mac, or if I put a CD out and I'm talking about Mac in these songs, because we'll get excited behind bringing Lil Boosie home or bringing somebody else home. And no offense, but I feel like if you did the crime, you need to do the time. You know, especially if you kill somebody. If you really did it, somebody is fatherless, you know, and husbandless now, and you need to do the time. And that's just how I feel. So when you didn't do the crime, you don't need to be doing the time, you know, and that's just the truth. But you know, people in the streets just buy into hype so much, and oh, whoever's the hot person to say free him or free him, we're just gonna rep that. So my whole thing is, you know, we need to do this behind a man who musically was ahead of his time and did some historic stuff for all the young New Orleans artists like myself. So musically, you gotta take your hat off, but also just spiritually, emotionally, and socially, you know, there's somebody that deserves it. So that's it. You know, so thank you. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Have you made contact or formed any kind of alliance with groups like Vote, Save Street, or Peacekeepers?
I'm a member of Vote.
Okay.
And Peacekeeper, I've been to some of their meetings, and also been to meetings of Gray House, you know, but especially Vote. I was one time active. I have been busy and haven't been able to really. But I know Norris and, what's her name?
Rosanna.
Rosanna, yeah.
They do a lot of things now on the legislative end, getting things done.
Yeah.
And with this kind of momentum, this kind of artistic and verbal energy, you might put the community in a position to let's go get them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I need to contact them about that, but yeah.
I think the main thing that I leave this with is, and I think everyone kind of feels the same way, as you always wonder, what can I do now? You know, people really always want to know, what can I do tangibly, you know, besides this? I think one is to just help raise awareness, like someone mentioned Facebook earlier, and is this on Facebook? There's so many ways to get the word out there. Then as far as, I know we did a benefit concert a couple of years ago, that's when I was real new to the whole situation, you know, and just helping raise money just to give directly towards Mac. Like, look, whatever you need this for, you know, that's what that was about. I think that doing something tangible, though, I think it goes a long way. So, you know, if there's any, like, no one here has the whole thing figured out, you know, and I think that's the beautiful part about it. No one is trying to say, oh, I'm in charge. Even the parents, you know, you have to respect a family that's like, we're going to take the initiative to do stuff like this, but we don't have it all figured out to where no one can act. You know, they didn't know me, you know, a few years ago. They didn't know me. I'm this random guy who's stepping in and wanting to help, but they have an open spirit to saying, cool, we're open to that. So any ideas that anyone has, you know, I feel like we all in this room for a reason, just to network with each other and figure out how we can use our own connections. The guy that is that's taking on Mac's case right now, just to tell y'all the story, he's a fan of mine. He came to a performance I did exactly a year ago on Frenchman Street for Essence Festival. He's just a D1 fan, a music fan. And he was like, man, I love you. I need a copy of your CD. Here's my card or whatever. Because my cousin is locked up doing 12 years right now for something. But he did do the crime, so that's different. But